Hi there, this is Natalie with a new process video for Pinkfresh Studio. And this time I want to use the office hours collection to document my kids' first day of school. And this is the first day they went to school together. My daughter had gone for orientation, so she's the first day that they were full-time at school. So what I'm going to use is one of the Pinkfresh Studio cut files, and this will come into the shop really soon, but I manipulated it a bit. This is a notebook outline with a cluster of florals. So what I did is I just cut the cluster of florals by just highlighting the part out of white cardstock, and then just cut the inside of the notes out of pattern papers from the collection. And my idea is I want to recreate the cut file but have the flowers stand out. And for this I am going to start, you're going to see that I'm going to build the idea that I have in mind. I'm using the Dreams paper as the background. I love the gray side. I think it's really subtle, so it's going to be perfect for what I have in mind. And like you see right now, all I'm doing is kind of setting up this idea. I had this idea of having a cascade of notes falling and then having the flowers kind of like meshed in between and then end up in the picture of my kids. So you're gonna see that now that I have cemented my idea, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the notes. And the first thing, like I said, this is the inside of the note. I just cut that part. So what I'm doing right now is I'm gonna trim it and make them square. Once I have that in place, again, like I said, I already have the formation down. I'm just gonna move around the florals, and you're gonna see the florals have the little lines of the corners of the notes. I just trimmed those with my scissors. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just moving the flower images just to set up the idea that is what the layout's gonna look like. And then I'm gonna use a pencil to mark pretty much every single one of the corners of where everything is placed, kind of marking the outline, because I'm gonna add a little bit of white paint on the background. And I'm adding the white paint just to kind of blanked, or just to make it even like more subtle, the background. I love the fact that the paper, the Dream paper, the B side has this beautiful, I'm gonna say like a mosaic look of tiles, but it is not busy at all. But I want it to be very subtle just because I want the notes and the florals to stand out. So a little bit of white acrylic paint. You're gonna see that it looks a little bit yellowish, and that's okay. A lot of it is gonna be hidden, but it's gonna give me the blank space that I'm looking for, and everything is gonna stand out a little bit more because of that. So I'm just gonna use a feathering using actually a flat brush, but I'm just gonna go really lightly. It's not a heavy application, and I'm gonna set it aside to dry. This dries really fast because acrylic paint dries quite fast. So while that is drying, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on backing each one of the florals, and I'm gonna use just the office hours collection, but I'm gonna be a little bit smart. So I'm gonna use little pieces and scraps to actually back all of the florals, and you're gonna see that I'm using some of the pieces that I have left over from cutting the note, and I'm going to use the combination of the colors that come in the office hours. So the yellow, kind of mustardy, a lot of the peach, and that rosy color. I'm going to use some of the blue. I'm going to use the greens, the different shades of greens. So I was really careful to cut some of the notes. I went and cut there's a lot of papers too that are kind of solid, so I use some of them to back the flowers, and I use a combination of all the colors in each one of the clusters just so I can combine also the papers that I'm using on the background. And my way of backing a cut file for this case was I just twisted my image, not twisted but flip it, sorry, to the B side, and added a thin line of glue around the outline of the shape, and then glue it to the piece of paper that I'm gonna back that area with, and then I'm just gonna fussy cut with my scissors. It did take a while because I'm gonna service 4 or 5 florals for this layout, but like I said, you're gonna see that I was very I was very detailed back in this cut file, and that it helped because I was able to use little pieces of the entire paper to add shades of green, add some little pops of pink and blue, and I love how this turned out. And you're gonna see that how it's gonna bring a lot of color onto my layout. So now that I have that ready and my background has already dried, I'm gonna go ahead and start building this layout. And this layout really, I think what took the longest was actually backing the florals. So now that I have that in place, I'm gonna pretty much build the layout on the background. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna distress the edges of the notebook, just because when you have that, it looks like you ripped it off of a notebook, obviously. So I'm gonna just kind of twist the top edges and then kind of flip the bottom too, just to give it some movement. movement. And then I'm going back to my idea. Now that I have the florals backed out, I'm just gonna place them so that they create, I'm gonna say there's a movement. I always think of curves and S's and things that wrap around, and I think this way is the way I want to go about it. Even though I have the note pages as if they're cascading or falling down the page, I want the florals kind of continue the same look and help with the movement of the page. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and start backing things, and I don't want to make this really I'm gonna say like dimensional, especially because I'm adding different how do I say it, different pieces. So my choice was to add pieces of cardstock behind the notes, and this is just I had some watercolor cardstock that I had destroyed and I already dried, so I just used it to back the notes, and I'm just gonna give it a little bit of a lift, not lots of dimension, but just a little bit of lift, and that's what I'm looking for, so that you can see the soft shadow. Once I have that in place, all I'm gonna do after that is just kind of place the flowers where I want them to go. You're gonna see that there are some areas where I'm gonna add a little bit of foam adhesive, just because, like I said, I am trying to play with the dimension and give it movement. Now that I have that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and just start working on the florals. One thing that I think I've mentioned before is I'm not afraid of cutting cut files, or so that they fit my idea. In this case, you're gonna see that I cut the little cluster, the blue cluster, and I'm actually gonna use it to kind of bulk up another one of the clusters. So now that I have that in place too, I'm gonna work on the picture before I set the florals in place. And I really like this note from the paper that comes with all the notes, the blue, because it's gonna bring some of the blue that I have in the florals, and you see that I already cut some flowers out of it. So all I'm gonna do is back the picture. I don't mind if the bottom right corner of the picture of the paper, it's kind of a little bit cut, because I'm actually gonna put a cluster of flowers on top of it, so it's gonna hide that part. Now that I have the picture, I did add foam adhesive behind the picture because I wanted to stand out from the page. I wanted to prop because I wanted to give importance. And then all I'm gonna do is start gluing the floral pieces, and they're not gonna move, but I am gonna take it off camera because I went ahead and started adding foam adhesive, and I don't want to show you that. So like I said, all I did is start adding foam adhesive just to create a little bit of lift, and now it's gonna come all about embellishing. And this collection is actually ideal to document at school and work, and I found so many things that could work perfect for this layout. I really love this little note that says reminder, and like I said, this is the first day of school of both my kids. My daughter had been going half day for orientation. My son was in grade 1. She was going to pre-kinder, and that was the first day that she actually got to go full day. They were happy. I was the one in tears, but I took a few pictures, so you know what, I'm gonna document them. So all I'm doing is I'm adding puffy stickers and elements that bring that evoke the feeling of school. So pens, pencils, I'm gonna bring some thumbnails, and like I said, the collection is ideal for this because it has all those pieces. Now that I have and I'm not gonna over embellish either, because I think the florals are doing a lot of the work. I don't want to be very heavy, but trust me, I could have gone so heavy because I love this collection. I'm pretty much killed it too. So you're gonna see that I'm adding just a few clusters around the notes. Again, I'm trying to continue that S movement that I'm creating with the pages. So you're gonna see that I'm gonna add them the embellishments into little clusters that kind of follow the movement of the flowers. Once I have that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and add my title, and my title is gonna be School Times, a combination of the beautiful script, pink kind of peachy alpha, and I think memories, I use the blue alpha just because I want to bring that blue. My son is in the picture too, so I want to make sure that I bring some of that blue. And the only thing that I did not find in the collection is a heart. So I went and pulled my, I think it's the mix 1 or the mix 2 puffy stickers. I have pretty much all the collections, the stickers, and I'm gonna add one to the school memories. Another thing that I added was the little phrase sticker in red, just because I have red in every single one of the clusters. So I needed something just to make sure that I have repetition, that I have the repetition that I create. I'm gonna say like a continuous line. Now that that's in place, you're gonna see that I'm adding enamel dots. Like again, I'm bringing in the hearts because, like I said, I couldn't find one, and I'm gonna bring a green one just to, don't make it so girly, like my son says. So a little bit of green is gonna take care of that. Once I have that in place, I'm gonna add my lines of journal right next to the picture, on the left of the picture, because there was a little space there, and I thought that was the perfect place to add my lines of journal. And since this page is gonna be staying in my book, I just added that was the first day of them going to school and how much I was crying while they were so happy. After that, you're gonna see, to finish this layout, I'm just gonna bring a little bit of licorice liquid watercolor just to create a few splatters, and I'm using a super fine brush just because I don't want thick splatters. I just want little dots of color. I don't want to distress it. I just want to emphasize, because I have the blue paper at the top. I think it's the plant paper, has these little black dots, so I thought I was gonna bring a little bit of that to the page, and that's about it. I love how this turned out. I really love this page. I love the florals, I love cut files, I love the collection, I love my children, but it was super easy to put together. And like I said, all that it took was just to play with the papers, a little bit of the cut file. The cut files are amazing. Wait till you guys see them. And I love how this turned out, and I hope you try it. As always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact me. I would love to give you a hand. And don't forget to check out the collection. Don't forget to check the cut files. They're coming to the shop really soon. Thank you so much for joining me today. Take care, guys.